Are we live? I see a little thing that says live.
We're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Victoria Baran's show. I'm Becky Mulcahy with Success Channels for You, and she has a fabulous show in store for you today. We're so glad she's back from Texas, recuperating with Iggy, and we're just so glad that you're back with us again. As a lot of you know, Victoria is a very, very successful businesswoman, has been for a long time. She's an international training director, international speaker, fabulous heart for her team, which is why she's doing this show every week for you guys. And she's just a wonderful person that is very forward thinking. And she's truly dedicated to the success of all of her team members. So we're so glad you're back, Victoria. And take it away, girl.
I am so glad I'm back too. So anyway, Iggy's doing fine. I know a lot of you have sent me emails. He is getting better every day. Still got a long way to recover, but doing really, really well. I'm going to make some announcements and go through a couple things before we hook in our superstar for the day. And I see his smiling face on this screen, that big smile, gorgeous smile of his. I sent him an email and said, boy, you are handsome. Anyway, I want to mention a couple things here first. Remember, convention is coming up. We got like 16 days before convention. So what does that mean? It means, A, if you need a roommate, I've got a male and a female roommate open. I just had an email a few seconds ago saying that they needed a roommate. I don't care whether you're on our Z team, not on our Z team. It doesn't matter. If you need a roommate, you let me know. My email, most of you know it, but I'm going to go through it again, is Victoria@BaranBiz. So that's two A's in there, BaranBiz.com. So, again, 16 days before convention, a roommate, if you want a roommate, let us know. We have many $180 tickets. So if I were you, I'd buy the 180 versus the 275, or, you know, that kind of thing. So if you have tickets to sell, I would send me an email, and I will help you move them if indeed. I mean, last year we were able to move, I think everybody's but one or something right at the very end. So we will be glad to do that for you. Also, today is the last day to reserve the hotel at the longevity rate, okay? Now, if I were you, if the DoubleTree is open, I would book the DoubleTree. Why? Because it's the closest one to the convention center. All right, so if you end up with issues with rooms or tickets or anything, you just do what? Email me and we'll get that done. Also want to mention Becky, as you see her on here, you know, I'm very non-technical, as all of you know, or as most of you know anyway. And so she has helped me put this together every week. She also does Dr. Ariaz's. She is doing a special deal through the end of March where she is giving longevity people, only longevity, 50% off. So if you have a large team, if your leader, let's say you're on the call and you want your leader to start doing this, tell them about it. Get a hold of Becky. Becky, what's your phone number?
My cell is 360-540-6268, or my home phone number, which is a lot of times a better shot with the cell service here in the country. My home number is 360-380-3801.
Okay, so awesome. So also want to mention that Doc is on his way to Brandon, Mississippi. If you know anybody, play the game. Who do you know in Brandon, Mississippi, or somewhere within 4 or 6 hours that you could run to that? Who do you know in Linares, I'm sure I'm probably not pronouncing that right, Missouri? Who do you know? Google it up and see, you know, maybe it's, I don't know where it's near. So check and see if you know anybody in Missouri, Kansas. Let's see how far it is. Let them know that we're having this amazing event with Doc Wallach coming up. So before I put Fred on, before I introduce this amazing superstar that he was so gracious to give us this time today, and he is going to go about an hour today. He might go a little over. I know he said he wanted 2 hours, but today he said, well, you know what, let's just do an hour. So, and I, you know, someone of his expertise can talk for 8 hours without stopping. We know that. So he's going to give us about an hour, might run a little bit over. We are going to tape this. Again, this is, if you want to just listen, it's 218-339-0858. We're going to do that every single week so people can listen in, like Tim is on, is driving And you know, we had several reasons, and Cheryl Dean is washing her dog. She's got a business that she owns. So you know what? This is the perfect thing. You can be on the computer watching, or you can listen. Either one that's convenient for you. Now, I want to mention a couple things real quick. Enrolling. If your month is not going, if your last month, for instance, let's just take February. If last month did not go exactly like you wanted it, I want you to look at how many enrollments, personal enrollments you had. Because this is a business that we know that is our own business. We're not in it alone. And we have lots of people with us. And but you only get lots of people as you enroll, and then they enroll, right? So if your business wasn't where you wanted it, I think you need to probably look at your enrollment yourself. Because sometimes, you know, things happen with your team. You always, I don't care if it's Tom Chenault, he enrolls every single month. Okay, Fred, I think, has enrolled probably 5 CEOs already this month, and it's just the 9th of the month. I mean, he's an enrolling machine. So, but I don't care whether it's Dr. Araza or any of the top superstars in this company, any senior vice chairmen, any chairmen, they all know you got to keep enrolling. Blake and Todd, they keep enrolling every single month, regardless. Okay, so that's one of my messages here for the day, is that please take a look. You've got 22 days left for March. If you had a great month last month, fantastic, baby. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it on that roll. But if you didn't, let's get some more enrollments going, personal, private enrollments, so that you know you're setting yourself up for a fantastic month. And let's face it, it's March, so what does that mean? We have 9.5, almost 10 months to meet our end of the year goals. I know I'm talking long term here, but literally, I like you to look at what am I doing before convention, what am I doing after convention, what am I doing this month, what am I doing the next month. We just take a look at all that so that you're never off track. Because you make a plan, sometimes those plans don't work, right? So you kind of readjust those plans, and then you do what is good for you. But what's good for you is making a lot of money, for one, and changing a lot of people's lives. And I know I told Fred this, because, you know, Fred and I are of like mind for sure. And I said, you know, Fred, you're going to find that our team, they're mostly all healers. They're people that really have a servant heart, that care about others, that want people to be healthy. That's probably why you're all on this call today, because you got the notice that, you know, Fred was going to be on here, and he is, oh my gosh. Well, without going on and on and on, Fred is called the water doctor, okay? And he's called that by thousands of doctors and patients for the last decade or so, actually for the last 2 decades. He is the one who brought Harmony Health to longevity. He wrote a book, Adrenal Exhaustion and Chronic Fatigue. It's a free download, guys. This man is so amazing. He is like this heart the size of the United States that just keeps saying, oh, well, I'll do that for him. Oh, well, I'll give him this. You know, here's this amazing book that he wrote, and you can get a free download on that on highenergyhealing.com. That was highenergyhealing.com. I've already sent it to my printer. I can't wait to look at it and read the whole thing from beginning to end. Now, he also, by the way, you know, we all love Doc Wallach, right? Well, he's a good friend of Doc Wallach's. He's the one that actually introduced Doc to the Dallas market. He's a vice chairman, on his way to senior vice chairman. He is an absolute enrolling machine, guys. He's the founder of ewater.com. He's a pioneer in the natural health industry. He lives near Dallas. He's on an advisory council for a mastermind group. And you know what? He's a life extension specialist. Now, does that ring true to you or what? A life extension specialist. We absolutely love that. So, you know what? With that, we're going to turn this over to Fred. Fred, thank you so much. He just got off a plane. He's racing from the plane to somebody that picked him up to now get into the office and plug in here on the Google Hangout. So we're so appreciative of you, Fred. And I got to tell you, the hour and a half when I first met you, I called him. It was divinity. I got to tell you. I rarely, when I set people up to do the Hair on Fire call when Tom's not around, I email them. I do everything by email because I don't have time to have lots of conversations. So I kept emailing people. Nobody's responding. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to look at this list. I'm just going to call some. And I thought, you need to call him. And so the fact that I called him, and we spent an hour and a half on the phone, I could have been on the phone 10 hours listening to him. He is so amazing. So I got to tell you, I just feel so fortunate with his busy, off-the-wall schedule that he is with us today. Also, by the way, if you are in Denver, Colorado, he is going to be here December 17th. Make sure you call me or email me and let me know you want a little 20-minute session with him because he is off the charts. Okay, so Fred, I see you're with us. I see that big smile you've got going on. So it's all yours, Sweet Cakes.
Oh, well, I appreciate it very much. And I know one of the things that most people want to know is, what is Harmony Health? And to understand Harmony Health, one has to understand a little bit about my background. And this isn't to build me up. And you just did that, I mean, beautifully. I mean, I always say, why wasn't I recording that? I mean, how much more fun would that have been if I were recording it? I'll just start all my meetings with that, right? So, but by the way, that's something to always remember for those who might be kind of new to all of this. And granted, I've been doing this for about 38 years. This whole network marketing industry, I've always gone to the top. I've always felt like I wasn't doing enough. And I need to make sure everyone understands. If you're a leader, you never feel like you're doing enough. You always feel like you can do more, and you always feel like you're crawling. When everyone else is looking and saying, oh my gosh, if I could only be like Fred, if I could only be like the pit guy, if I could only be like Ariaza, if I could only be like Corey Gold. I mean, has anyone seen how many CEOs Corey Gold has put in? I mean, your leaders are the best leaders I've seen in this industry, period. And that's 39 years. You realize I've actually been in the 38. I've been in this industry. I'm just realizing longer than almost anyone else. I may have only been with Longevity for 14, 15 months, but by golly, you have some amazing leaders. So, and I love the one team, one dream. And I'm not just giving lip service. Look, I've kept a fairly low profile for over a year, and I did it intentionally. And that's hard for me. I mean, I am a driver. I have so much belief. And by observation, I'm an observationalist. I teach what I have observed, not theory. I don't, quote, sell something because, oh, I can make money on this. Never have. I never will. Because what I deal with always is related to your health. And I teach this, never put a dollar sign on someone's forehead when you're dealing with their health. Those dollars are a reward for doing the right thing for that person. And if something isn't right for that person, don't you dare do it, especially if it's just to embellish your income. Now, that may seem harsh to some people. Say, well, I thought this is a business. You're darn right it's a business, and that's why you ought to treat it like a business. But when you're dealing with individuals regarding their health, you just have to, it's kind of like going into a chiropractor's office. Chiropractor does not work on you based on, well, let's see, if I do this, I'm going to make this much money, and if I do that, that's not how they think. They have a set schedule of fees that their chiropractic assistant at the front desk has. The doctor goes in, and if he finds something out right around T4, T5, he gives you a wonk and corrects that. And, whatever else he finds. And then he's marking it on a chart, and he gives you that, or he takes it to the CA, and CA figures out your bill, and you pay it. He doesn't want to know. He does not want that to influence what he does. Either way, in other words, just think about it. If the doctor thought, well, this is kind of an expensive correction, maybe I'll just let it go. So that would be wrong. You need that correction. Well, that's the way you should feel here. Sometimes I have to put people on, when there are two people and they're a total mess, they might spend $1,200 on their first order. And I'm going, oh, because I'm very conscious of people's dollars. And I come from a family of 8 kids. And my dad was a school teacher, and my mom obviously was a full-time mom. An Oreo cookie was my dessert Saturday nights for the week. And, and I was grateful. But the key is putting someone on $1,200 a product, which doesn't happen very often, but if they need it, that's what I tell them they need to do. Whether they do it is up to them. I don't force them, but I do try to persuade them to do it correctly. Most people, a CEO mega pack, especially if they're 2 people, like me, I mean, I'm still 2 people. When I realized that the dosing was per 100 pounds of body weight, I went, oh, I hadn't been doing it that way. So I was getting good support, but I wasn't getting optimal results. And when I found out, well, to lose my weight, I've got to get those cells stocked with the trace minerals and all. Now, I've been dealing with trace minerals, I mean, truly, over a quarter of a century. One of Dr. Wallach's mentors in trace minerals and sourcing, etc., was a very dear friend of mine. And so I've been doing this. But Dr. Wallach, he has brought it together so incredibly well. So when I saw this per 100 pounds of body weight, which I had missed, small print up above the directions, I went, oh, So if I got a CEO Mega Pack that's for 2 people, for instance, my Harmony Health CEO Mega Pack is technically for 2 people, I would actually take everything in there just for me. And that's what some people have to realize. And I love the way this whole structure is set up so that I can communicate it that way to people, and it fits in perfectly with what I do. So here you have these marvelous CEO packs, and they offer all these products. You have Dr. Wallach and Dr. Glidden's teaching on the 90 for life, which is the core of all the packs, basically, pretty much so. And it should be, because if all you did was the 90 for life and nothing else except selenium, you have the core of what Dr. Wallach teaches, which is a full toolbox. And if you give a full toolbox to the body every day, the body's perfect intelligence will do what it needs to do, unless one element is missing, and that will be functioning cellular participation. What does that mean, Fred? Well, it means if you have a company that requires 100 people to function efficiently, and you're paying 100 people, but only 1 or 2 people are showing up every day, how is your business doing? Well, it's doing crummy. And that's how people are today. 85% of the people out there are not sleeping well, they're fatigued, and they're not digesting their food efficiently. 85%! Folks, what's your market? What's 85% of 300 million in this country? Never mind Canada. Let's leave Mexico out of it. Let's leave the rest of the world out of it. I just got back from 2 weeks in Australia. I got a SEND in Australia now. What do we do? Okay, well, the bottom line is you've got to give those cells what's obviously missing. And to do that, we first have to, well, why did those cells go to sleep? They're not dead. And we're talking the living organisms in your body as well as the body cells. Some people don't understand. Most of what makes up your body are living organisms that have nothing to do with the body cells. And sorry, that was my ride, and I didn't turn that off, and I should have. And so those living organisms, there are 9 to 10 in your body for every 1 body cell. Those are called commensal cells. They literally create the vitamins on demand for the body cells. Always have, always will. So what happened, Fred? We go to the vitamin store, the health food store, and it's all about vitamins, vitamins, vitamins. Well, that was the pharmaceutical, once again, even in the natural pharmaceutical, that was a pharmaceutical diversion from the truth, because they're profitable. That's what keeps the doors open, those vitamins. And the pharmaceutical industry has taken over 95% of the vitamins. You know what we don't sell a lot of in longevity? Vitamins. And you know what Doc never promotes? Isolated vitamins. Yes, Doc, you got it right. Sure he does. He's brilliant because he has done it all from observation, from the autopsies and pathologies, 27,000. You can't know how that impresses me, because that's observational science as far as I'm concerned. Doc, when I first said, he said, no, it's not observational. I said, Doc, you observed that every time this disease existed in an animal, you found this deficiency in this mineral or whatever. And I said, that's observational, and that's why it's so perfect. You can't deny what you observe so consistently. He said, okay, all right, then that's observational. So I think one of my Quanta Waters is coming, so I can show you that in a minute. But so I looked at this, and if the cells aren't showing up, and they can't do their job, and if these living organisms cannot do their job, then how are you going to be healthy? It doesn't matter what you put in your body if those cells are asleep. Thank you so much. All right? Thank you. So if those cells are asleep, this is the key, by the way, and this is called Quanta Water. I'll be getting into this in a moment. So the key is to get those cells supported harmonically. And where did their energy go? What happened? Well, it's called, first of all these electronic overwhelm appliances, satellites, thousands. I had no idea there were thousands of satellites up there cooking us 24/7. Ramped up to steal every cell phone call you make, ramped up to read your license plates. It's all true. I thought, oh, maybe a few hundred. No, thousands. I saw a picture. It scared me to death. I would never want to fly into space. Are you kidding me? So they're cooking us. So we're in a microwave oven that never turns off. And you know what a microwave oven does to hot dogs and does to popcorn. Well, you're the popcorn, folks. Some of you are the hot dog. But it doesn't matter. You're being cooked. But what about the billions of cell phone calls being made around the world? In fact, while I was in Australia, do you know I got every cell phone call that was made to me? Wait a minute. That's the same call I get in Texas. Or when I'm going to be out in Ontario, California in a few weeks, I'm going to get the same call. Wait a minute. So that means when you call me, everyone in the world gets cooked by a little microwave. Oh, yeah, it's the same microwave that cooks the popcorn, just at a lower dose. But now multiply it times billions every single day, 24/7. How do you feel about that? Today, babies are born being cooked by satellites and billions of cell phones from the day they're conceived. And you're not aware of the need for protection, never mind support. You need them both. So that's just a start. Your food, your water. Water used to be the source of life. It is important that water, when it falls from the sky, it would be energized by all the electrostatic energies in the atmosphere. It would fall to the sky, structured. It would flow down the streams, over rocks, over little waterfalls, interacting with the magnetics of the earth as it goes over the waterfall, and the magnetics that were in the granites, and it would also the far infrared from around the earth, the atmosphere, as well as from the earth itself. Those three things interact with the water flow and create energies that keep on expanding, and those energies get greater and greater. And if you know that at the bottom of a waterfall, or if you drink from a running stream, you feel so incredibly energized, because that water is very high in energy. We measure this by what's called bioangstrom units. We used to call it Bovis units because of this Anton Bovis, who, first of all, he was a Frenchman. He discovered that it was the focused energies of a pyramid that mummified the mummies. And it was didn't have anything to do with special ointments or whatever. And he mummified a cat in a totally different country just using a pyramid shape. And I go, well, that's interesting. So some people would wear pyramids on their head if they were ill. Well, I don't do that, and I don't promote that, because things that are stupid are stupid. You know, there are better ways to do things. Work with the body. So we measured them in bioangstrom units, and 6,500 of these bioangstrom units would be neutral to the body, and anything below that is sucking life out of the body, and anything above it is bringing life to the body. Now, when you're measuring in bioangstrom units, it doesn't necessarily say whether it's stimulatory or supportive energies, and there's a difference. Coffee, stimulatory. Except, and I'll be perfectly honest, the true organic JavaFit coffee is not very stimulatory and very supportive, and its ORAC is just off the charts. So, I mean, I couldn't be more excited. I was paying 3 times the cost for quality organic coffee, and then I see and test what this company, what Longevity has, and it is truly as good and a fraction of the cost. Now, like I say, I'm from a family of 8. I count my pennies. I like saving the money. So it's amazing, and it tastes so good. So you have the water, where all of this negative energy that man-made, it's all man-made crap, that is just destroying the supportive energies in the water to a fraction of what God provides us. The food, which the water nourishes, and the soil, all are being bombarded by these negative energies. Our food is crap. Oh, let's not even bring in the fact that they're genetically modifying everything and putting the genes of animals and fishes, etc., in there. These little tiny tomatoes, you can throw them against the wall and they bounce because they use the flounder genes in those tomatoes. So people who are allergic to tomatoes usually are allergic to the flounder or fish. They're not allergic to tomatoes. That is how sick it has gotten. But worse than that, no matter what the plant, it doesn't have the energy as it's growing, so it can't bring you the energy that God designed your body to receive from that plant. So it may even have some nutrients, but again, it has no supportive energies. Well, if your cells don't have the supportive energy, they get tired, just like you do, and they have to rest. But if they're assaulted every day, 24/7, and they don't get the rest, just like you, they get tired all the time. Now, not everyone listening to this is tired all the time. Some of you are, and you know who you are. And some of you, if you are, and you're going to be at convention, somehow find me. Let's schedule some time when I can take 10, 15, 20 minutes, do my Edna on you, and I will get your bodies turned on to where your cells go from 1 or 2%, and you'll cry when I read your mail. You'll cry when I tell you exactly what your life is like that no one understands, but I do once I test you. I'll tell you if your digestion is working or how badly it's not working. I'll tell you how awful you feel in the morning when you wake up and don't even want to get up, some of you. Others, you're just tired. Doesn't matter. We'll get you functioning at 99% for about 2 weeks, maybe 2.5. But if you were supporting your body with the harmonic support I'm going to explain that everyone says, well, how does it work? I say very nicely. By the way, that's the exact response I gave to the most brilliant woman in the world, Dr. Rima Lebo, absolutely brilliant beyond you can imagine, been a friend for years. She tried what is called my energy mug, which uses the same energies as the EP2 stress pendant that you wear around your neck, and she used the mug, and she had lost about 6 pounds in 6 days, changing nothing else, absolutely nothing else in her diet. Now, she's on a very good diet, but she says, all right, so Fred, how does this work? And what do you think I said to the most brilliant woman in the world? I said, very nicely. And I then proceeded to explain it to her because she can understand quantum energies and quantum biology, and quantum is a whole nother, it's not anything like typical physics or typical biology. But I wanted to make a point to her, just as I'm going to make to you. It doesn't matter how much I explain this. There's only one thing that helps people move forward with anything, and that's your experience with it, or your sharing the experience of others that you have either met or heard from. The most important is your experience. So, if Dr. Rima shared with other people that she had had this loss in just 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, they're going to be listening. Well, how'd you do that? I just drank it out of this mug. How do I get one? I mean, literally, that's what people do. Well, how does it work? I wanted to make sure she understood that she should say, very nicely. Because even if someone thought they understand the explanation of all the physics and all, I need you to know the energies and the way these energies are transferred, they come like the EP2 stress pendant. This is Russian technology that the #1 Russian physicist, when he defected, is the only one out of a dozen top physicists that was able to keep everything in his head of all this work that they had been doing, because they're not allowed to take a shred of paper with them. I had gotten a call from at least 3 other Russians. I'm known as the water doctor, and then when it comes to the energy stuff, at that level, I'm at the top in their eyes, all right? But, so this one calls, and I'm talking to him, and I'm saying, okay, this one sounds like he knows what he's doing. Because I'd already been working with these kinds of energies for years, and everything was just little, going to the next step, next step, next step. And I'm pretty good, but obviously I'm finding for some people I'm not. I'm pretty good at taking this absolutely unintelligible googly-gook way they think and share this information and turning it into English. And even they appreciate it. I say, so what you mean is such and such. And, oh, yeah, I like that. They say, but I am about result. So when you take your EP2, and I was just looking for one because I evidently went out of the house without my EP2, and I'm sure I've got one right here somewhere. Of course, not handy, but with the EP2, I know where I probably have one. Ah, yes.
Now, Fred, that's your stress pendant, the EP2?
The stress pendant, EP2, that is the ultimate protection from those satellites. That is the ultimate protection from the, there we go, yes. The ultimate protection from the satellites, ultimate protection from the cell phones if you don't have the EMR patch, the Harmony Health EMR patch. This will be, that little gold patch right there, that will be available by the end of this week on the Harmony Health site, that right there is 94% protection from what your cell phone is putting off. The closest competitor, their technology, barely 60%. I'm telling you right from my heart, I have tested these things for years. I want to know. I only go with the best. I have no false loyalty to a technology or to a product. If there was something better, believe me, I would be carrying it. The most cell phone protection devices, they're lucky to do 3 to 5%. A couple of them hitting almost 20%. All of them miss at least, all of them, except this one, miss at least 2 of the 6 most destructive frequencies put out by cell phones. And how do we know that? Well, the Germans, they're very good at this research. They're very good at energetic research, and they identified the 6 most dangerous and harmful frequencies given off by a cell phone. And a cell phone damages your DNA, and it also inhibits the natural DNA repair mechanism in the body, because DNA is constantly being damaged and constantly self-repairing. But cell phones, they not only damage it, they inhibit the repair, much like fluoride does. So the this isn't what I thought it was. That's my e-crystal.
Now, Fred, is that for cell phones? Is it for iPads, tablets, and desktops and all that too, or not?
Interesting you brought that up. My E-Dot, some of you may recall the E-Dot, and if you have the E-Dot, stay with the E-Dot for it'll last you at least a year. But cell phones today, like I now have an iPhone 6, this thing, I don't even take my computer out 9/10 of the time that I used to, because I can do everything on my cell phone. It is a computer. It is more powerful than the computers were 3 or 4 years ago, this little thing. And the computers themselves, oh my gosh. Well, when you put your hand in front of your computer screen like that, and I could put your other arm down, if you were trying to hold it up there with strings, I could put it down with my little finger. If you put your cell phone up to your ear, I can put your arm down with my little finger. I can take an athlete's arm down, maybe not with my little finger, but with 2 fingers. All right? The minute you put this patch on the back of your computer screen, or the minute you put it on your phone, usually it's on the back of the phone. Now, I like to place them underneath, put them underneath the covers, because then they're good and protected. But this will stick even to an iPhone. The E-Dot would keep pulling off the iPhones. My gosh, nothing stuck to that glass. But when you put this on, you put your hand up to that computer screen, and immediately, bam, I can swing on your arm, female or male. The strength difference is like, whoa. You know what's nice about that? Demonstrations are very effective when they're legitimate. So any legitimate testing, whether it's muscle response testing, whether it's digital far infrared thermal imaging, which is very objective. I mean, it's just showing the heat buildup. Like, you put your phone up to your ear. I had a gal that she was working at a booth that was a digital far infrared thermal imaging booth, and she happened to have this. It's now no longer available. It was called a BioPro device for a phone, and she thought, oh, I'm protected. Well, I had already protected it, and it was about 60%. And so I explained that, and I showed her, and I demonstrated that, you know, it did give some protection, but she still went weak. Ultimately, when I tested, all right, how much, and we got to 60%, 61, boom, down. So I didn't know, but I knew she bought my E-Dot, but I didn't know she then went back to her booth, tested her phone, took the picture at, and not talking on the phone, talked on the phone for 5 minutes, took another picture of her face, took another 10 minutes, took a picture of her face, took another 15 minutes, took a picture of the face, then ripped that thing off, put my E-Dot on there, talked for maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and the heat just that fast went down. I was even surprised. And I think we have those on our ewater.com site, but I like it because I had nothing to do with those pictures whatsoever. She just did it on her own, and I went, wow, that's impressive. People can talk about the problem, but can you show what your product does that actually makes the difference? Not just some weird thing, something that's accepted. And digital infrared thermal imaging is medical, they all understand. This is just objectively measuring the heat given off by the organs or the body. Aura photography shows the difference in the body, the balance, the auras, the colors. It's amazing how consistently my technologies make such a difference, especially when you put the EP2 stress pendant on the body. I'm going to cover a little bit more on that. But let me just go back to this Quanta water. So now you have your food sucking the life out of you instead of bringing energy to it. And by the way, does organic food have more energy than non-organic food? Not necessarily. Is organic healthier for you? Usually. Does organic mean it had the trace minerals in it? Well, I think if you've been a part of longevity for any length of time, you understand no. There's nothing in organic that says you have to have certain minerals in the soil, which is why no matter what our diet, we supplement with either mineral caps, tangy tangerine. I do all of that. The minerals, you can't outdo the minerals, overdo the minerals if they are in the plant form. And we have the broadest spectrum of true plant-based minerals literally on Earth. And I've always dealt with the very finest. I take these. That's what I do. And so an organic diet does not mean you'll get your energy back. Organic doesn't mean you'll get your stamina back. Organic doesn't mean you'll start sleeping again. In fact, proven over and over, it doesn't. And some diets actually work very much against you unless you have your head straightened out. Vegan diet, very hard to stay healthy for any period of time on a vegan diet. Can you? Yes. But sometimes people are so judgmental about how other people are eating when they're vegans. They think they have to impose that on other people. So, but I've met a couple of people that were incredibly healthy that were vegans. But a couple out of thousands, I'm not impressed. And then I hear Dr. Wallach talking about vegans. None of them have hit 100 years of age. And, you know, it's just not a healthy diet. Could you be a vegan and take 90 for life? Yes! And then it becomes okay. Making sure you're taking the extra selenium and zinc and copper. These are things that Doc has made it so simple for us to not only be healthy ourselves, but to help our families be healthy and to help people we may not know today, but we meet tomorrow, and we have an answer for them, and you don't have to be some mad scientist with like Doc or myself, you know, where people think we're weird or, you know, just you're awfully abrupt, Fred. And I want to answer that for a minute because I've already offended a few people in longevity. And it's just when you ask me a question and I answer, if you don't like the answer, go on to the next question. You didn't ask me a question based on I was going to give you an answer you liked. It's not up to you. You ask me a question, I answer. If you don't like it, either ask another question or go away. That is why like Doc, he returns calls, he takes calls. I have all my life taken the calls from the doctors, the patients, and now regular people, which I so love, because you don't call to chit-chat. If you call me and you have a question, I will answer the question. Next question. And thank heavens, as abrupt as I sometimes can be, and my fuse some days is shorter than others. I apologize for that. But I heard Doc answer questions, including mine. He's bam, 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 bam. Get out of here. I'm like, whoa. Well, sure. That's the only way he can have tens of thousands of people out there that want his time. It's the only way he can answer his phone. And he does. And it's the only way I can, too. To know that you have access to me directly is important. But you don't have access to me just to chit-chat. How you doing, Fred, today? Get over it. I don't know how to chit-chat. All right? So that's on that. My phone number is out there. You can call it, but you'd better have a legitimate question or I'll bite your head off and you'll never call me again. So, and that has happened. You laugh. Okay.
You're so nice. Every time I talk to you, I don't know.
No, I can be nice, and if you're nice, but you know, again. So this stuff right here, this is the Quanta water. People say, what is Quanta water? Quanta water has two technologies, Manfred-Bauer's technology. It also has some Tesla technology, but Manfred-Bauer's technology, which was the original technology that I had. In fact, I had a plumber that had done work for me on the West Coast, then came to work for me in Dallas. And then I had gotten the mug, I don't know if I explained this or not, the mug that had the water in it. And he started drinking his water out of that mug, and all of a sudden he was down for the count. Didn't show up at work for 3 days. He was bedridden for 3 days. And I'm like, what's going on? He said, you know, Fred, I can't move. But he says it's okay. He intuitively knew his body was detoxing all those lead fumes and metal fumes from being a plumber all those years. And in 3 days, he was over that because the positive, coherent, what we call left electron spin, would neutralize the free radical nature of those heavy metals, and the body was confident enough to let it go in the blood and go out. Now, it wasn't strong enough, not nearly as strong as this, it wasn't strong enough to allow the body to do it without the body still reacting rather severely, which is why he was down for the count for 3 days. And I mean down for the count. But what he then did is he continued, and within a week, he was back up to par, but feeling so much better than he had in literally years as a plumber. And that's when I first started seeing, wow, this is powerful that way. And besides absolutely maximizing hydration, I mean, this isn't just a water catalyst. There are lots of water catalysts out there, but that's all they do, is make water wetter. But what I also have learned over the years, and look, I'm not going to, I only have an hour. I'm almost over that. I don't have the time to try to explain to you how harmonics and structure maximize hydration inside the cells as well as cell support. But I can tell you that that is what's needed. When you have a water catalyst that only structures water but doesn't provide the sirens, the singing nature of water that Dr. Carl Baugh of the Creation Evidence Museum, you know, has talked about so many times after years of research. And he's talking about this, and it made total sense what I had been observing, in that you have the harmonics, your cells can hear or feel those vibrations. They open up these little portals. Your cells have these little portals that allow the water to come in with the nutrients and all. Until they are satisfied you're a good guy, those portals stay closed. When you drink filthy tap water, those portals stay closed until your body has had time to steal free radical neutralizers from anywhere it can. And that's what we talk about, ORAC, and the foods, blueberries, etc., that have high ORAC. Then the antioxidants in your body must be used, pycnogenols, etc., must be used to structure that water further, or tap water doesn't have structure the water, and try to tune it up a little bit if those substances had any harmonic structure, so that the cells say, okay, you're now in a state that I can let in. Even if it's not perfect, your body wants to live. It's good that way. So what we do with Quanta Water is, first of all, if you just put a squirt in your mouth, just a little squirt, we're talking half a teaspoon. That's why it has this squirt top. So you can pop it up, little squirt, that's it. You don't do that again for another hour or two. You don't wait more than 2 hours. But every hour or two, every hour is the best in the first month only, but if you'll do that, a little squirt, your cell function will begin to go like this. It's slow, but very discernible. This is important before I say any more about this Quanta Water. If you're not able to hang on to the nutrition that you're taking with longevity, it is because your cell function is so low, like 1, 2, or 3%, that your body's intelligence says, get this out of here. I'm in survival mode. I don't have enough cells to use this nutrition. Get it out of here. You think you got diarrhea. No, body's intelligence is shooting it out, because if for some reason it did something with it, it creates messes, and you have a cleanup crew that's supposed to come in and clean up that mess. But it doesn't have the cells to do the cleanup. So it's your body's intelligence saying, I don't care how good this is. This is wonderful. Get it out of here. You sip on this no more than 4 or 5 days, and then start taking your nutrition again. You'll have no problem hanging on to it and utilizing it. As you keep sipping it, you're going to get to 10, 20, and when you get to 30%, which could take 30 to 45 days if you're in a very low state, if I don't get to work on you first, I'll save you 30 to 60 days of recovery time if I get to work on you. But I don't have to. You don't have to get your people worked on by me or any of my graduates. If they just sip on the Quanta water, in 30 to 45 days, they will get over 30% cellular function, and they will start sleeping like a baby. Until that time, their sleep will improve a little, but until you're over 30%, you're not sleeping well, and you can tell. Whether you're waking up several times a night, or whether you wake up tired and are tired throughout the day, whether you sleep longer than you should. People say, oh, I sleep fine. I sleep 9, 10 hours a day. Well, that's not exactly good sleep, folks. You should sleep 2 hours, and if you had to get up, you should be able to get up and be awake. You won't last long, but you should be awake. That should have been 2 good hours of sleep. Are you hearing me? Mothers of babies and small children. You're not supposed to be exhausted. You should be getting good sleep when you can. So when sipping that water, after you're over 30%, you will begin to sleep fine, and now it's like this is the time you start experiencing major breakthroughs in your health. But if you allow it to go back down under 30%, you're not going to be sleeping again. It's just that threshold of 30%. It's easy to test if you know what you're doing, and I teach people to do this, but it's easy to test. But really, just listen to your body. If you're not sleeping well, start sipping this stuff. There's not a single other thing you can do that gets you over that unless you're meditating in true communion with God for 3 to 4 hours a day, and I mean that. And those are the only people I see doing that. Some martial arts people who know what they're doing with martial arts because they're able to bring in and focus their energy, but they're doing it 2, 3, 4 hours a day. But for the rest of us, you better be sipping this. Now, once you've done this for 2, 3 months would be best. Oh, by the way, it's a whopping $29 for 4 bottles of this, which will last you a month. The first month, I'd get 2. I'd get an extra 4. So that you can also add it to your water, and you can, instead of once every 2 hours, sip it every hour if possible. And you'd have enough to be squirting into your water, because when you just put a small squirt of this in a glass of water, the hydration and the harmonics of that purified water, it could be dead as a doornail distilled water, it could be crappy store-bought water, which averages 3,800. Now, didn't I earlier just say that 6,500 was neutral? So if you're at 3,800, which is the average of most bottled waters out there, they're sucking life out of you instead of bringing life to you. So your body will utilize some of that water for hydration, but if you notice, when you drink that kind of bottled water, you pee a lot, because most of it is going right through your body. It's not, the body hasn't had enough time to convert it to where your cells can use it. Yeah, baby, she gets it. So in this case, when you add the Quanta water, first of all, it's so easy to drink. I love it when every person that says, well, I don't like drinking water, I just can't drink water, I hate drinking water, tell them just put a squirt of Quanta water, and all of a sudden they're like, I can't stop drinking the water. Mostly because your body is telling you, drink this, I love this stuff. So that's on hydration. When you squirt that Quanta water into the water you're drinking, does it bring your cell function up? No. It's not strong enough. Will it maintain it? In most cases, yes. Like an airplane, full throttle to get off the ground. If you pull back on that throttle too soon, you start coming back down. If you turn it off entirely, you crash. So can you ever stop using Quanta water? In today's environment, sorry, the answer is no. Unless there's an appliance the company had one time, they may have again, and that's the Vitalizer Plus, only with my e-crystal technology, which is similar but not exactly the same as the EP2 you wear. Excuse me. So that would not only energize the water and structure that water, duplicating everything nature does, unlike these acid-alkaline machines, which stay away from. They've come to me for years, and every time I try to teach them how they hurt people, and they hurt you. And for some people, hurt you badly. Do not use these. They're crappy filters, first of all, and they're even worse in how they throw the body totally out of balance, because they literally cook the water, break up the water, create oxygen hydroxide instead of H2O. Oxygen hydroxide is an irritant to your tissues, which is why you get some response from the immune system in some cases, and like you've got a sore throat or something, the body gets so irritated it kicks the immune system in and it takes care of that, you know, minor sore throat. But look, if the Japanese use those ionized water, that highly alkaline alkali water they call it, if they use it in place of chemotherapy to irritate the body several times a day for a few days to see if they can possibly not have to use the chemotherapy, does that sound like drinking water to you? No. Don't do it.
What do you drink, Fred? What kind of water do you drink? Okay,
the water you want to drink is the number one, reverse osmosis. I mean, for years, and Dr. M.T. Mortar wrote no correlative urinalysis, a textbook for the colleges and all. He did his research and he said distilled water should be the best, but he said it's so dead and it's so aggressive that no. And then he wrote in there, and this is we're talking, this is 20 some odd years ago. He wrote, reverse osmosis is the closest to nature and isn't nearly as aggressive or hungry as distilled water. And this is before either of us really understood the energy factor needed in water. So you start with reverse osmosis, and it has all the other, listen to me, all the other filtration methods. So when you have these clowns out there that are selling a carbon block, which is what drove me into the water business full-time, because my son nearly died drinking water through the largest carbon block, well, it's actually his mother, that was made because I read the research, I listened to the sales pitch, and it left all the beneficial minerals in the water. Well, wait a minute. Water dissolves rocks. That's what it's doing, metals and rocks. Those are the minerals. Are they plant minerals? No. They're the metallic form of the minerals the plants take and through photosynthesis predigest and convert, usually up to 1,000,000 times smaller than the metallic form. They're now in the plant form. That's what our bodies can utilize. That's why the plants are there. So these are plant-based minerals, not what's in the water, which is just dissolved rocks. And children have tried to suck on dirt for years, and it just doesn't work. They can't live. But it does tell you that those kids are mineral deficient. So reverse osmosis, distilled would be my second choice, or spring water. I don't care either way. The problem with spring water is you never know what's in there. Again, it's just dissolved rocks. What makes it spring water is you have to have a certain amount of these dissolved metallic minerals. And I say that the minerals give the water its aftertaste. Oxygen is what gives water its taste. But no matter what kind of pure water you're using, and the key is you got to have pure water without fluoride.
Right.
You add either Quanta water, this right here, a squirt of this, or these Harmony drops. And I'll take the couple of minutes I've got left to explain these Harmony drops. You take these Harmony drops, you put 1 to 3 drops in a glass of water, and like the Quanta water, it maximizes the hydration. And it brings some coherence, because these two have coherence. Those of you that meet me at convention or at any of the times I'm speaking out there, pwbseminars.com is where you can see my schedule around the country. And anytime you can come, you can get treated. There may be a small fee. If you're CEO qualified, I'm usually pretty nice to you. You know, I abuse everyone equally. I do want to make that clear. I do abuse everyone equally. So come prepared. Now, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to have you do tests. I'm going to have you put your 2 fingers on top of the head. That's the governing vessel, conception vessel, being fried by the satellites up there. I'm going to have you take your little finger, and I'm going to have you put it here, right between the eyes right there. That's your stress point. And if you weren't stressed before you met me, you certainly will be shortly after meeting me. So you're going to go weak when I test that. You're going to do a scrunch. You know, this is a medical term, scrunch. And you're going to put that down to your belly button, go 1 inch below the belly button. That's a chung mo or adrenal point. You will see, most all of you will go weak, absolutely, because over 85% of you are very compromised. This is where, all of these are where stagnant energies are collecting. And then you scrunch, I'm going to have you put it over on your liver, and boom. And that's stagnant energy blocking your liver from functioning. So you do a cleanse. That's why I'm not heavy on cleanses. And gee, I found out Doc's not heavy on cleanses either. And Dr. Glidden's not. You got to be healthy to do a cleanse. Don't do a cleanse to get healthy. Get healthy and do a cleanse, because it just backs up. You feel crappy. But a single drop on the back of the hand, whoop, take the other hand, do this. Women understand this. Men always try to do this, you know, clumsy stuff, because they don't understand. And you do that for about 2 seconds, Repeat these same tests. Every one of them will be rock solid strong because those stagnant energies, boom, one drop of ultimate coherence. And that's what happens. It is so incredible. Now, before I forget, that EP2 stress pendant that you wear around your neck or put it in your pocket, I don't care if you put it in your sock, anywhere on the body it's going to work. It's just it makes sense to wear it around your neck. Yes, you can put it on a chain if you want. You can do whatever you want. Don't put it on a big heavy chain, though. But the cord that it comes with is almost indestructible fish line. So it's made just to be practical. And you forget it's even there. I wear it outside usually. Why? Because it's my product and I want you to see it. But you usually wear it underneath, right? Come on now. Women, you can put it in your bra. You can pin it to your bra. And I say pin it to your bra because when you take that bra off in the bathroom over the tile and it smashes into pieces, you call me in tears. And I'm like, you know, what do you want me to do? Because they just want to, how can I get another one? I love this, but it's now in pieces. No, it doesn't work in little pieces. So where was I? Okay, so the EP2. You must start that EP2 very slowly. The directions say start at 1 hour. I'm going to revise them and have everyone start at half an hour, which some people, the ones that are really tired, aren't sleeping, you want to start at 15 minutes for 2 days. And that's it. Just like building up your real muscle. 15 minutes for 2 days. Then 30 minutes for 2 days. 30 minutes, take it off. Next day, 30 minutes. Then 45 minutes for 2 days. Then an hour for 2 days. You're going to keep that schedule up until you hit 4 hours. At that point, you can go 30 minutes every third day. So it'll be 4, 4, 4.5, 4.5, 5, 5, until you hit 10 or 12 hours. Then your cell function is going to be up if you're sipping the Quanta water at the same time to where it'll maintain up there. You can wear it 24 hours a day if you want. But here's the important thing to understand. If you're really tired and you buy that pendant and you wear it all day, you're going to be exhausted by the afternoon. Because you see, you put it on, and like the Quanta water, it pops you up, and with Quanta water you start slowly coming back down, but you never go quite as low as you were. So you keep taking those sips, and your real cell function is starting to rise. Well, this pops you up the same way, but your body's intelligence knows you're really way down there. But you popped yourself up with the EP2, and it's tension just as if you were carrying logs in your arms and you haven't worked for 3 years. You can only take 10 steps, and then your arms are exhausted, right? You drop them. I run over. I stack you back up, and you take another 10 steps. No, you take another step, and boom, you drop them because your arms are exhausted. And unless you let your arms rest, they will never get stronger. They'll just stay in exhaustion. You got it? So that's, and this is observational. This isn't anything anyone taught me. I just found this to be true. And when you don't do it, look, the directions, I'm going to tell you. You can go to harmonyhealthpack.com and you can get the directions, download them on a PDF. harmonyhealthpack.com. Because this company stays out of trouble by not providing anything with most products, including my Harmony Health Pack. I didn't realize it at first. People were getting it and they're going, what do we do with this? Because I supplied all the directions. You know, so imagine the direction on how to take something can be construed as a health claim. Oh my God, what kind of a world are we in? It's crazy. This you will download, and this shows the actual what the Harmony Health CEO Mega Pack is, and this right here. Now, I may mention it has been. You want to go on the site because it's been revised a little bit. The E-Dot, and for a while here, not even the E-Patch, the Harmony Health E-Patch, they're not in the CEO Mega Pack any longer. I put 2 selenium in there. Why would I do that? Because the selenium is so critical. And when I first made the pack, I mentioned earlier, I kept a low-key profile for a while because I wanted to make sure that I understood this culture. And there is a culture to longevity. You'd agree with that, right? And by the way, it's a beautiful culture. It's a very grounded culture, very spiritually grounded, with such diversity, but still very spiritually grounded, very God-centered, whatever you want God to be. For me, God is God. I mean, I've planted 4 churches in my lifetime, been the worship leader in all 4, and but I don't want to plant a fifth. I've kind of had it up to my eyeballs with religion at this point, just so you understand where I'm coming from. But I put about 40 to 100 people a month back into church after developing their relationship deeply with God so that they know why they're going to church again. And I don't care what denomination they go to. I really don't. Just so long as they're allowed to worship God. So we'll get that out of the way. So on the back of this sheet that you'll download, the descriptions of the different products, including the Quanta Water, the Harmony Drops, the Stress Pendant, and before you did have the EMR blocker, and I didn't bring it with me, the egg, the Harmony egg. It's about this big. It goes into the refrigerator, the Harmony Health refrigerator egg, and all your produce lasts 2 to 5 times longer. Now, I don't know if that means anything to you, but that amounts to hundreds of dollars of savings a year. But more importantly, it helps to neutralize the free radical nature of the pesticides and residues from the farms, but it also helps to neutralize the sensitivities to dairy and to other substances in that refrigerator. And I had a medical doctor put his lettuce in a container, took a picture, put it in the container. 3 weeks later, he's taking a picture every week. 3 weeks later, he said, "Fred, this looks just like when I put it in the refrigerator," and he sent me those pictures. I should post them on the website. I should post them on the Longevity website. Absolutely amazing. You know why I begged them? I didn't have to beg them. They did it for me, and I appreciate it. 2 reasons. I want to save people money. All right? They can save a quarter to half of what they spend each month on their health just on what doesn't spoil in the refrigerator. But if that will do that to the produce and the food in the refrigerator, isn't there a chance that might be doing it to your children, to your pets, to your fish? Oh, it could even be doing this for you. And I don't have to explain any more than when people say, "How does it work?" Very nicely. Look at your refrigerator. Observational science cannot be disputed. A man with an experience is never at the mercy of a man with a theory. Remember that. If you are not using the products, stop trying to sell the products. People don't want to be sold. They want to know what they've done for you. They want to hear your heart, not your head. And they want to know, if you haven't used the product, you say, "I know someone that has, they had fantastic results." How do you learn that? Go to the meetings. Get on the phone calls. This company has more good stuff. Yeah. I am so excited about going to convention. Imagine, I've been 38 years in this industry. I have gone to hundreds and hundreds of conventions and big events, and it's like, bah, another one. No, after the very first one, I was so excited. I said, "Oh my gosh, these people are real." Not only the people building the business, but for the first time in my history, a corporate team that understood the field, because nearly all of them have built serious downlines themselves. But they're all real people. And not only they're walking around, they're accessible. Oh my God! They're not hiding behind some room or some, they're there and they're answering questions and they're loving on people. And the worst of it is, they're having a ball. They're having so much fun with each other and just being there and enjoying our success. First time in 38 years that I had seen that. And every event I've been to since, it has been the same. And I am so very excited to be going back to the convention. And yes, I'm very excited to, in about 11 months, become a, vice chairman in the company. That's considered fast by some standards, and yet some people are doing it faster. And, anytime you break a record, someone else is going to do it. In fact, it always makes it possible. I really like that. But I appreciate people like the Pitcocks who totally set the standard. And I taught their mentor who taught them, and I'm now learning what I taught, only it's been so refined, so perfected, that has made my life so easy. When you're with Corey Gold and their system, I mean, he just makes it so easy. When you're with Ariaza, look, you cannot dispute, this is explosive growth, and yet they're all a little different. but the end result is the same. Your success, my success. I need to be around you guys. It keeps me grounded. I can start feeling like, oh, I'm so smart. You know what? Getting around Glidden, Dr. Glidden, getting around Dr. Wallach makes me remember I'm not so smart. I'm just very fortunate that these guys make themselves accessible on video, on tape, and in person if I will get out of my comfort zone and take advantage of it. So I've shared a little bit here. Oh, one other thing. I just want to, this glucogel, I have never seen anything that is able to grow cartilage bone on bone. In all my years, and I've been doing what I'm doing a very long time. I've worked with chiropractors for almost 28 years, and nothing would grow cartilage bone on bone. And what I have learned and seen glucogel do in days for some people, regardless of the challenge, even on the spine, no matter how bad they've blown the spine, it fixes. If they're on the core, if for those people who have low cell function, they get on the Quanta water, a Harmony drops to clear those stagnant energies, wear the EP2, and they take the glucogel. It's not months, it's days or weeks. I know I'm over my time a little bit, but this next part, this is important, because this frustrated me from day one. I was meeting top leaders in longevity who absolutely adored the products, adored the company, adored the mission, and everything had been working, and then they weren't responding any longer. They were in that exhausted state I was describing. And I just worked on them. They got on the Quanta water, the Harmony drops, and literally within those few days that I talked about, they were able to take the products and the body was responding again. And they continued and they got themselves from 1 or 2% up over 70, 75% function. They have their lives back. And there's nothing can replace when you hear from someone that you know that you totally gave them their life back. It's why I never get bored. I get testy, I make mistakes, and I apologize to any of you that I do have or that I do in the future, because it's going to happen. I get tired like other people. I push, push, push. I give, give, give. That's what you do. You want to do it less and less. I'm talking about your mistakes. But never give up and never apologize. We do what we do because of our belief system. You are in the best company. And I've been around, like I say, long enough to have seen them all. I used to analyze them. I used to predict when they go out of business. And I got to, so I would be within one or two months when a company would go out of business. I haven't done that for years, though. You are in the ultimate company, the absolute finest pay plan. And I say that because it gives you a reward like no one else, but it doesn't pay you for doing nothing, which means those who are doing something do get paid. You can't pay welfare. You want to. Yeah, I won't get into politics. You know, this is not a welfare state. It's just the opposite. It's the opportunity state. You have it all. And when we combine, and Doc Wallach understands how well I know what I'm doing in my field. Not once, not twice, 3 times he said, Fred, we have been on parallel paths all these years. We may not have been working together, but we've been on parallel paths. You should be on stage with me. First time I thought, oh, he's just being nice. Second time I'm going, well, that's twice. Third time, I believe he means it, and he does mean it. And that is the most humbling thing he could have said to me. Whether we're ever on stage together, other than me getting a hug from him for another pin level or whatever, very, very humbling. The combination of Harmony Health with Dr. Wallach's 90 for Life, and then adding Sweeties if you've got the, look, every one of the packs, look how simple this is. I'm like a preacher when I say I'm just about finished. What does it mean? Absolutely nothing. Anyway, so when you have these packs, like the bone and joint pack, all you do is you put people on the Harmony Health CEO Mega Pack, and you will absolutely maximize the results they have with whatever condition, even if you added nothing else. But whatever their condition, look at the bone and joint pack, and they'll just be glucogel. It's the only thing that's not in your Harmony Health CEO Mega Pack. And you add the glucogel, and you have the bone and joint pack, but with everything else their body needs because of what's happening today. It wasn't doing this 10 years ago. It wasn't this bad 5 years ago. But today, it's not a choice. Do you realize not a single other company can address this issue? You are the only person that can bring this to the people you know so that they can actually get well. Otherwise, they're going to run to the doctor. Even though you've been talking about this, when they get sick, what do? They run to the doctor. Why not make sure they get results? And they're not saying, well, how come I'm not responding? I hate the posts that I see on even corporate page. I've been on the product for 8 months and I'm just not feeling any results. And I'll test them and they're always 1 or 2%. What do? You get them on the Harmony Health and they will respond within days. People say, well, how do we know? Try it! $29. Are you kidding? Do you realize you as members can get this? You can get this for less cost than my very best customers could get it from my own company. I made sure that was possible. And there are 2 reasons. Your company gets this at cost. I don't make any money except what I put in my own organization. So don't accuse me of pushing my product to profit. I don't profit a dime, and that's a fact. But you also have a company that's not greedy. They could easily have jacked the price up. But no, they kept it to where they could, in their pay schedule, still pay, but you'd get the product for less than I can sell it to you as my best customer. That's exciting. And that's what you can offer other people. They've got no incentive to buy anything you're selling if they came to one of, quote, my websites, because they're going to pay more, plain and simple, in every case. I like that. So
Fred, real quick, why do you believe in CEO packs? Why? I mean, I know the bulk from what I've talked with you, the bulk of every person you put in the organization, you enroll as a CEO. Why do you do that?
Because, well, there are 2 things. You could just put them on a CEO pack. Why do I put them on a Harmony Health CEO pack? Because it's the only pack available in the world that addresses what people are suffering from, cellular shutdown, as well as nutritional and mineral deficiency. And it provides enough for 2 people or 1 person that's 2 people. And if they're 3 people, and that's what, like I say, these people that spend $1,200, I explain to them, you've got to get a 3rd set, a 3rd 90 for life. You're going to be taking 3 of these, plus extra trace minerals. If you're 330 pounds, you're 3 people. And once I absorb that and teaching that to people with the understanding and the belief, but the CEO Mega Pack, the Harmony Health CEO Mega Pack, is the only way you guarantee that person's success. The other CEO packs are great if their cells are turned on. You might have tapped into the 15% that don't necessarily need the Harmony Health support. But what are the odds? Especially if they have a problem. They're all going to be in that toilet. But every CEO pack maximizes the return on the effort you're going to do anyway. I mean, the CEO Mega Pack is the only way you, who's putting all that effort into it, whether you get a lot of results or a little results, when you get results, this company pays you maximum if you're CEO qualified. If you're not CEO qualified, you're getting, a fair return, like a wholesale retail. But, if you understand, why go hand to mouth for the rest of your life selling a little bit of product where, you hear Dave Pitcock, and Dave, they use the product, but do they understand the product? No. Do they understand what it does? Yes. But you want Dave Pitcock to explain to you about the product? He can't do it. But he sells millions and millions of dollars a year of longevity product, and he doesn't know squat about the product. What does that tell you? You want to know everything about, let me tell you how quantum water works down to the little molecular structuring and this, and I've got a video I can put up, and you sell maybe $1,000 or $5,000 of product a year. And after 10 years in longevity, you're still selling $5,000 or $10,000 of product a year, which you probably should be using yourself. Does that make any sense? You put yourself on a CEO Mega Pack to maximize for the rest of your life. One time, I've never seen a company do this. One time, CEO Mega Pack, and for the rest of your life, you're qualified for everything possible if you do the work. And no one's ever done that. When I got my car bonus, I think I got my car bonus in 2 weeks. And Barb Pitcock called and said, you earned a car. I said, really? How many months do I have to qualify before they pay? I said, no, you qualify. You're going to get a check here in a couple of weeks. And sure enough, that check came, $300. And I said, whoa, then it went to $1,000. It's like, wow. And you know what happens if you fall out of qualification with this company? They don't make you requalify for 2 or 3 months before they start paying you again at that qualification. Once you requalify, they're paying you. There are no penalties in this company other than you didn't qualify. They love, when Doc said, I want to pay you bukus of money for getting this message out, this man has delivered, absolutely delivered. CEO Megapacks are the only way, if you're starting someone in business with this, the only way you are not cheating them out of their business opportunity. But for their health, the CEO Megapack is their guarantee that they are going to get the product they need to truly be able to test the product and experience the result. And what did I say? The one reason people will go with you is because of your personal experience and you sharing your experience. Say, well, how does it work? I don't know. I just know that when I took it, I had, for 5 years I've been suffering from my arthritis. I took this stuff the way they said, and within 3 weeks I was out of pain. In fact, my hands are moving again. I don't know what did. I just did this, and it totally changed. And I've heard a bunch of other people say the same thing. Boom! They say, how do I get it? What did you explain about the product? Nothing. The mistake we make is thinking we have to be product experts. You have to be product user expert. You have to be experience expert. You have to start your own meetings where your group comes together so that when someone comes and they're a ditch digger and they have sore muscles from ditch digging, you're not a ditch digger, but you have someone in your group that is in a similar and they can relate. You sign the person up because it's teamwork. This is a network marketing business. This isn't a web-based, sign people up that you never talk to. Tom Chenault, biggest in the world. Tom Chenault sits down and builds a relationship with a person. Only then, when he finds out what they need, does he give them a way that they can solve that need, whether it be physical or emotional or financial. Let's learn from these people. Let's learn. Put that into a system, whether it's the Pitcock PMG system, which, in my opinion, without question, is the finest in the world for good, quick, solid results. But I watch what the others are doing, and it's like tremendous. But why would I switch when something works so well? But if you're doing what Ariaza is doing and it's working so well, why would you switch? Don't. Stay in the system. The system, duplication, is what makes it work. But never forget, it's a people business, but I don't like talking to people. I was so shy, I couldn't talk to more than one person at a time. I stuttered when I was a kid. I was an extreme introvert. Obviously, I'm not now, but I truly was. Oh, really? And when I started, pick up the phone and call someone, we used to call it the 100-pound phone. But I did it because my dream, which was only $200 a month so I could stop playing nightclubs, my dream was bigger than my fear. And I had the support of a system. And I started seeing that if I did what the system said over and over, I started seeing results. And the reward, called money, started coming in, which is a motivation to keep doing it. People say, oh, I don't need the money. I'll do it just because I want it. Not. You haven't noticed, people don't do things without reward. But I say reward. Just make sure that reward gets delivered. And this company, Longevity, delivers. There's so much I could say that I've learned. That'll be on another program. The products, the fermentation, all the stuff that I had worked with for years. It totally explained why when I tested these products, they were off the chart, but it didn't make any sense. How come they test so high? And I look at the label, and the label doesn't say they should test that high. I mean, it's like, no way. But there are all kinds of subtleties this company does that no one else does. The understanding, the genius. I mean, one of the CDs I love giving out is Richard Renton's Quality, Quality, Quality. That CD, whoa, does that answer bunches of questions. But docs, the best of dead doctors don't lie. I mean, and Dr. Glidden, I mean, I got his, you say, oh, you're going to spend a couple $100 on bunch of DVDs from Dr. Glidden. Oh my gosh, you got a college course worth thousands. I had my guy convert them into DVDs so I could listen to them in the car. And I'll tell you, I have gotten pretty smart just listening to Dr. Glidden. Because yes, he is. He ties all the loose ends together in nice knots and bows, just like Doc. I mean, Doc with dementia and anything to do, eating 10 to a dozen eggs. Are you kidding? A day, soft yolk, and you know what? It works. Wow, I'm telling you, I did not know that. We're not even close. Oh, chiropractor friend, and I will end with this. This is absolutely rock solid. Chiropractor, he just went to continuing education for his license with a bunch of other brilliant chiropractors. This man has a $3 million library in his home. He's read everything there. It's all in his steel trap. Truly brilliant. And knows 192 techniques and healing modalities anally. And I get to study with him and have beers with him. And he was taught, and the man teaching finished things up by saying, today the biggest challenge we have is poor sleep. The other biggest challenge is lack of minerals, plant minerals in the body. And he's just going right down the line. Everything we've been teaching between Doc and I, everything we've been teaching for years, for the first time in this doctor's history of being taught by someone else besides me, he's hearing what we've been teaching for years. He was both laughing and excited at the same time. He just thought it was so funny that the profession is finally catching up, the chiropractic profession. I'm sure it's not all over, but this particular instructor, it was as if, oh, and the foods not to eat, like in the 10 food list, it was great. Didn't miss a thing. But we have been ahead of the curve. If we've been plugged in, we were learning from Dr. Glidden and Dr. Wallach way ahead of anyone else and getting those results. So, Victoria, have I frustrated you with the length of this?
Hey, darling, you are fantastic. We love it. We have so enjoyed it. I got to tell you, Iggy and I both ordered a CEO Harmony Health Pack because we want, and I thought, well, that's 4 pendants, blah, blah. You know what? I've already got them earmarked for who I'm giving them to as gifts. We need the Harmony water. I'm thinking all the people in my family that need all these different things. I love the fact that we get the refrigerator egg, every single thing you've talked about. We are on board. I can tell you we're going to be a great testimony. And, I found a few quotes for today to end this up today. There's a very thin line between successful people and unsuccessful ones. Crossing over to the successful side requires only a subtle evolution in mindset. That was Gary Gable. Now, how about this one? Successful people have formed the habit of doing the things that unsuccessful people like to do. And that's from Albert Gray. And the last one, commitment is critical for making changes. Let's make our deadlines and due dates mean something. So, guys, make sure you get your reservation for convention. Make sure you see Fred at convention and, tell him how much you enjoyed him. Gosh, like Fred said, we've got such an amazing opportunity with this company. Absolutely love it. Love you, Fred. Can't, I'm thrilled with our relationship that's building here, and we're just thrilled you're part of our company and can take us to the next level physically and financially, guys. We talked about those CEO packs. So with that, we're going to end, and I thank you so much. And Becky, let's just close this out, girl.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much. And we'll be back on again next Monday with Victoria's show. Absolutely. She's back on board. Iggy's doing better. And we really appreciate you, Fred. Awesome information. And we'll see you at convention.
God
bless. Bye now.
Thanks, everybody.